Good evening, welcome back to Virtual Pool 4 Online, and this wasn't planned, this tournament, or at least I wasn't planning to do any streaming of it, but we have the Snooker Masters, or the 2020 Snooker Masters, which is underway. I haven't had a look at the bracket, but I've been mailed or forwarded match confirmations from Tin, so thanks to Tin for that. And this match tonight is a race to 5 first round match, or it might be a second round match, I don't know, because there was buys in the first round. And it's between Tonysam, who's a long-term virtual pool player who's arrived in the lobby, and Magician, both players from England. Well, again, on paper, Tonysam should be the favourite for his long-term experience, but the one thing going against probably both of these players is exactly like myself, where we don't play enough. There isn't enough snooker getting played nowadays. I've lost my little foam covering thing. It's fell off my mic, and I'm looking to see where it's went. That's why I'm sort of shuffling about. It's falling. Oh, there it is. Found it on the floor. Don't know whether it makes any difference, but I'm putting it over my mouthpiece. Right, well, as far as I know, the chat should be working. Let's just double check. Well, I hope it's working. Somebody can message me if it isn't, because I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything on screen. I'm just using Gamecaster tonight, and the room is up. Both players are in, and already I've got a problem here. Maybe it's just a bit of lag. So we're playing with oh yeah, thanks, I can see the chat now. We're playing with the proper snooker rules here tonight. We've got, as far as I know, we've got the foul and miss rule on. Now you can see there's a big difference in, well, 300 point difference almost in the rating between the two players. We can talk a bit about strategy in this game. This is a game where I've certainly got a lot more experience over the years, having played it in real life for about 20 years. And then the eyes and the back went, and so virtual snooker was the way to go. Now already Tonysam just taking a wee bit of liberty there, trying to open the reds a bit more. The problem with this is that the camera, let me just sort my speed of my mouse, hang on a minute. The camera tends to be at the wrong end of the table as far as snooker's concerned. It should be up here where things are happening, but that's generally the way you would see it in a professional game. But in Virtual Pool 4, the reds tend to end up all over the place a lot of the time. But welcome everybody. Welcome Moz. Good result yesterday, I see, 5-0 against somebody who I've never seen ever before in Virtual Pool 4. Goodness knows where they appeared from. So Tony on a break of 20 now. If he takes his time here, he can pick off a few points here. Now he's just going to have to punch this through and get that cue ball out and up for this I keep calling it the 8 ball, Jesus, for this black. And that needs to keep going a wee bit to make it a wee bit easier in the pot here for this red. And he should be just coming back for the blue here. Now again, with this shot in the blue, he's got a bit more angle than he would like, which is why he's less inclined to take it. But again, he's trying to get into an area. It's all about getting into areas with these reds. Well, there's not a lot of great talent in this tournament, I have to say. I mean Keith, for example, when I posted on Facebook, he said the one complaint he had was the fact that he never got any, he didn't even know the tournament was on. And I said to him, well, I could have messaged him, but I was thinking he was done and dusted once he'd won that tournament, and he wouldn't be back for another 7 years. So that's what that's what I said to him. But like I say, if he's not got notifications on and stuff like that, then he won't know that the tournament was scheduled. So Tony's break goes to 49, and I think he might be in a bit of stook here now. Let's have a look. Yeah. Well, he should be running for cover here, but the difficulty's finding a way out. If he misses the blue, which he hasn't, but anyway, that's a good start from Tonysam. A break of 49. And Magician, well, I mean, he has to, the first thing he has to do is not do something stupid. He should be playing safe and looking to find good cover at the end of the table here. Get it as close to that ball cushion as he can, and that's a good shot. That's a pretty good shot. Now, every time you go to play a safety shot like this, you should be looking at where that red's going to be pushed to and what sort of damage you might be doing. But that is a pretty good return from Tonysam, and Magician has a problem here, the problem being finding a way back to balk. Now, there is a thin edge of that red there, but he's bound to hit I keep saying the 8 ball. He's bound to hit the black if he tries that, I think. Good evening, Bedhead. Well, he's managed to avoid it, and that's ended up not too bad. I thought he would be clipping the black there. And once again, Tony should be playing safe, but he looks as if he's going to be taking a liberty here. And that's the thing that Tony could get found out on. You don't take liberties. He might have a big lead of 49, but it only takes 2 or 3 visits of 15, 16 runs, and Magician's back in the frame. You've got to play the percentage game. You can't start pushing it out too far, but Magician has to take advantage of it though. Now he's got a few reds here to pick from. I don't know whether he can just draw back. The red doesn't go behind the black, so he has to come across and miss them, and he's hit that too heavy. He's still got the cut on the red, and if he plays it gentle, he should be on the pink or the blue. But he needs a response. and that's way off. And this will be easy pickings here for Tonysam if Magician keeps missing reds like that. It wasn't a difficult red, and there's still 3 and 4 open reds here for Tony just to clinch the frame. Now he would have liked to have stopped just before that red there to just roll that other one in, but he's gone too far. And he's underhit that slightly, but he could run into these 2 reds on the left hand side. Oh, I forgot to check my little doodle, hang on a minute. If he plays the black, he can run into the 2 reds and hold for that one. That would be the plan. And he's played it perfect, so he can now drop that red in. He split the 2 reds, and he's home and dry in this first frame. And Tonysam, he has played in the big 9-ball tournaments. In fact, I think Tony got to the final in VP3 one year. It'll be on Wikipedia, but I'm pretty certain he did. I can't remember who he played, but he's been predominantly a snooker player from time to time. He just does not get enough time to play online nowadays. So this second visit really goes to 24. Now the question is whether Magician's going to have the stomach for the fight here. But he's going to have to keep things tight. I mean, you've got to use all the strategy you can, and hopefully you've picked up some strategy, but he's going to have to keep things tight. The one thing to do is to keep those reds tight in the pack, because once they get opened up, anybody who's got enough knowledge to play this game is going to pick off enough points each visit that they get. So this first frame is well and truly over. It's just a question of whether Tony can clear the table and make it an emphatic first frame for Tonysam. Now he could just come back off the red for the black, or he could just run through. He's got a choice of what he wants to do. So two visits only in this first frame from Tonysam, and we've had a 49 and we've got a 44 and counting, and just a bit sloppy on that yellow, but it gives him a very good start to this match, and he's got a frame on the board. And Magician breaking off frame number 2. Now he's breaking from the right side of the D next to the yellow, and well, already this match isn't going to last long. That is not a good sign, and I think that shot there has got quit written all over it. That is not the shot of somebody playing with any common sense and using their head. That's got give up and quit is exactly what I'm getting. Good evening. What's the point in entering a tournament coming up against somebody you know that you can't mess about with, and then you lose the first frame, heavily, and then you get to break and all you do is smack the reds open and just play straight into his hands. It was a pretty dumb shot, to say the least. And then he's going to sit and wonder why he's 2-0 down. But what he's relying on is Tony making mistakes like that. Now the mistake has been made. The question is whether Magician can back himself for smacking the reds open and actually score something. And with a snooker rating of 1702, it doesn't suggest to me that he's going to be able to come up with the goods, but that's up to him to prove it. I'll tell you. Well, did he quit and say good game and then left, or did he just lose connection, as they say? I can tell you a better one than that, though. I mean, this will show you how long ago this was. This was Stubb trying to play snooker in Virtual Pool 3, and I think I was on, I'm not sure whether I was on my second century or my third against him, but he up and quit and left, and I don't know how many years ago that was, but on that very day that happened, I said, well, that's the last time I play you at snooker, and I haven't ever played him since. Quitters, I've got no respect for anybody that quits. Absolutely none. They're the lowest form of life in sport. If you're a quitter, if you ain't got the stomach for it, then why are you in it in the first place? But anyway, well, that's one thing I've never done. I mean, I got hammered 10-1 one year in the Virtual World Snooker Championships, and that was all my own fault, because I had a dodgy mouse and I was playing with it, and I was lucky to get one frame. But that's one thing. As long as you're still in the game, you've still got a chance, no matter how long your odds are. But I don't like to see somebody smacking reds open in a tournament like that. It's, I mean, if it was Tony doing it and he smacked him open, then I can see a reason for doing it, because he's putting pressure on Magician, who he doesn't think can come up with the goods, and he's probably right in saying that. You know, if he did that, but Magician getting hammered in the first frame, breaks and smacks the reds open, it's just non-logical. It's no the way to play the game. Again, not getting set for a shot, not taking your time, not actually thinking about what you're doing. I mean, it's just got bad vibes all over it for this guy. And this is again just, as they say in the States, taking candy from a baby, because all Tony needs to do is just pick off the points that are there, get a decent lead, just wait Magician's next mistake, and he's got frame number 2 wrapped up. So if I was in Magician's corner, I'd be saying to him, you know, just use your head for goodness sake and play something sensible. I mean, these reds are all over the place, and well, this frame should be well and truly over by the time Tonysam's finished here. If he can get that blue, I don't know whether he can. I think it's too tight. But if he misses the black and potting this pink, well, he's decided just to roll onto it. I would have played that a bit firmer to get the cue ball free from the black, and maybe land on that red at the back cushion. So again, it's a lead, but it's there's still points in the table if Magician can screw his head on. But again, that shot there left himself right in the jaws. Straight in pink, has to just roll through for that red in the back rail. Well, we've had since the 9-ball Masters, we've lost Willie Thorne, one of my favourite commentators in snooker. Willie was a good commentator. He didn't excel as a professional player in terms of tournaments won, but his knowledge of the game, he brought that to his commentary, and I always liked listening to Willie. Very, very clever. And we've also lost today, not that many people are going to know that if they don't pay attention to the news, but probably one of the most iconic, well, responsible for the most iconic music in movies, and that's Ennio Morricone, who died at the age of 91 today. And of course, if like me, you've seen The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, A Fistful of Dollars, A Few Dollars More, Once Upon a Time in the West, Once Upon a Time in America. I mean, he wrote all the musical scores for them and many other films, but he has passed away. Everybody knows when they hear the intro to The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. There's not many people won't know that. Well, that might be a description of this match. The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. But anyway, Magician has had a run of 23, and he's on 31. He's only 15 points behind. And this is exactly the point I'm trying to make here. He's got himself in the frame, and if he just screws his head on and plays a sensible shot, he's still in this frame. Now he should be going back to that black cushion. That's what he should be doing, because the safety area isn't in bulk with that red in bulk. And the other thing is, he has to be careful. He doesn't want to do anything where he's going to go in off and give Tony ball in hand in the D. So he has to play a decent safety shot here and get back to that black cushion. Where's the red going? Now Tony, if he gets a bit overconfident here, trying for this red, well, he's got it. I don't think he's going to have much of a colour as a choice. Let's look at that brown. Well, the brown goes. Just a bit of a thin cut. So the lead is now 22, 35 still in the table, and I don't think oh, he's okay. I thought that pink was covering the path there. So just this red will leave Magician needing a snooker. But, oh dear, look what's happened. Well, it's not a difficult hit on this red off the baulk cushion. I don't like the angle he's picking there though. That is not the angle to get to that red. He needs to come right round a bit more from the, I mean, unless my eyes are deceiving me. Well, he was never going to be near the red playing it at that angle, and Tonysam will stick him back in again. That's just not the shot. Let's have a look. That needs to go past the middle pocket, and that will squeeze past the pink. Tony will just roll it down the rail. Well, I thought he would have. Now, I would have actually just played to roll that right down the rail and not get careless. He's got a 32-point lead. Why did I think he needed snookers? My mathematics has gone down the pan here. He's got a 32-point lead and there's still 35 in the table. My head's gone already. The Magician just hit that a wee bit too hard. That could have ended up a good snooker there for him. Now let's have a look. Well, I think he's got to maybe try and hit this thick and try and drop down behind the pink. He could do it, but I don't think he can see it. Can he see enough of it? And then of course he has to ride his luck that he's going to get the cue ball down there. No, I don't think it was ever on. But this frame is still alive, and once again Tonysam will be going for this. We'd be unlucky not to be on a colour. Well, no, not interested. Would much rather play the good safety like that. Again, an easy one to hit, but you just got to chance your arm that you're going to get lucky. Now, easy hit. And that. Well, that'll do. That's the sort of luck you need. Or is it? Can he cut that in? I think he maybe can. Really thin. No. Where's the cue ball? So 32 in it, and he needs to get, well, the pink's certainly there for the taking. Blue as well. Well, Magician has his opportunity to prove that he has got some sort of a game. That needs to just slow up a bit. Well, he can leave the green into the same pocket. He just needs to come down off the bottom rail if he can, and back out for that green into the left middle. I don't know, I mean, he's got too much angle, I think, to hold on it. Well, if he's got the spin, so yeah, unfortunately for Willie, he made all his 1-4-7s in practice. And this is as good a chance as any that Magician's going to have to pinch this frame. 20 points behind, 22 still in the table, and well, he wants to get as close to this blue as he can, and he's got the angle to do it. But that is just, again, that was poor. A poor miss in the brown, but way short on where he should have been to get on that blue, and he's just sold the frame after getting himself back in it. I'll tell you what I'm surprised about. I'm surprised that I mean, we all know that anybody who's followed snooker over the years knew that Willie had his gambling addiction, and I don't know whether he was declared bankrupt at any time, but anyway, I'm surprised that he passed away in Spain, and that's where he's going to be. That's where he's buried. I'm surprised he didn't get shipped home. That's the bit that surprised me. You'd have thought his family would have wanted him home. I don't know, whether I presume they had a plot. I don't know whether he was buried or cremated, but the surprise is that his remains are still over in Spain. Then again, I don't know whether he had settled down in Spain. Good evening. Well, for any latecomers, I think this is a first or second round match in this year's Virtual Pool 4 Snooker Masters, and it's between Magician and Tonysam. Tonysam 2-0 up. Magician lost the first frame heavily. Two decent breaks from Tonysam gave him the first frame. Magician smacked the reds open in the second frame, and was lucky he didn't get pummeled in the second frame. Managed to get himself back in it, and then sold the frame with a very poor brown when he had the chance to pinch it. Yeah, you should just be pushing through, getting that cue ball as close to that bottom rail. Well, he's trying to draw the cue ball away, but all he's doing is opening up more reds and giving Tonysam an easy start again. You've got to use the head. I mean, he could just have pushed the black up the table and pushed the cue ball to the bottom rail there, or the top rail as we look, and he would have left nothing on, or anything he would have left would have been difficult. And this is a point I'm making about strategy in snooker. You've got to use your head. You surely must have learned something watching the TV over the years, but a shot like that is not the way to play the game. I mean, I'm very critical of players who play the game but haven't the common sense to learn how to play it right. you've got to know when to push the boat out, and more so when you're facing somebody who generally knows what to do. You've got to assess the situation, and again it's just playing straight into your opponent's hands. All he's going to do is pick off what he can here, and then more than likely run for cover should he get out of line. He's got a bit more angle in this pink than he would like. I don't know whether he's considering the blue, but he looks as if he's going to cut the pink. Yeah, always more difficult to read them. So it's only 12, and he might have got away with it. Let's have a look. Well, there's certainly nothing doing there. I think he can get to the potting angle of that red as we look, although he's not convinced himself, but I think he can. I think he can see enough of that red to pot it, but not giving it any more attention, and he should be punching this red around the table. Well, you think there was enough of that? Well, he's potted the red, but as I say, you've got to be punching that red around the table, because you're relying on luck to get on a colour, and you don't. If you're going to play the game, you just can't rely on luck. And now he should be pushing the brown through and locking Tonysam up behind the yellow if he can. Coulda, woulda and shoulda are great terms in every type of sport, but Magician going for the red. Again, I probably wouldn't have there. I would have locked Tonysam up. That's generally the way I play the game. I play it a lot more conservatively. If you're going to start going for long reds like that, then it's the same in any game. You have to back yourself. But you see, he's got the cue ball running all over the place. I mean, what colour did he play for there? Anybody can answer that question. And this is where you have to keep the control of the cue ball. You have to be in control of the situation. Now, it'd be far better rolling that black in and rolling up the table for the red behind the black. That would be the shot. The slow roll technique is something very often used in VP4. Now, that red go past the black. Yes, it does. He's probably going to run into that other red, so again he's going to rely on luck. And of course he's too tight to the cushion as well. That's the other problem. Yeah, so all the time he's not in control of the situation here. And once again, it should be thin off that black ball and down behind. See, the thing with you talk about in snooker is target areas. Your target area is down here. That's where you want to be, and get that cue ball in behind the yellow and brown when you're looking for safety. And he fell short, and I'm going to make a plea straight away here. If Steve is going to join the chat, because I've got another suggestion. We've got a default button. You know, if I do this, we've got a controlling U to get the camera back to the bulk end of the table or the kitchen end in a pool table, but we don't have a shortcut button to get the camera up to this end in snooker, which is like the TV view in snooker. You always end up this end of the table, so we should create a shortcut key for that. But Tonysam is actually trailing in frame number 3. Now, nudge onto the red in the cushion, brings it into play. More than likely play the yellow. Now those two reds that are together, well, they're not going anywhere that side, but they certainly are this side. The top red there goes into the middle, so they don't need to be moved, although he's nudged into them. And a little soft screw back will bring him onto the black. Little stun, get the cue ball up the table. So now these three reds are all wide open, and it's just about leaving that angle on the black to get back up the table to finish on whatever one he wants. And he's got the angle, so it's just to pace. He could actually, let's have a look and see whether, he could actually just stun up. He can go to the far rail, but he could stun up for either of the reds. And the lead goes to 23, and this frame should be over. Now the interesting thing will be when this when frame number 4 starts, because it will be Magician to break. And let's see what he does this time. Good evening, Polo. What's happening? What's happening with this program you were making for me? Have you binned it? I haven't heard anything. Have you scrapped the idea? Well, Tonysam has a 29-point lead. There's 35 in the table. And of course, Magician, now let me work that out in my head. 35, what did I say? So he's 28 behind. All the colours are there. Again, he has his chance. So he had a chance in that last frame to pinch it, and he's got the same chance again. Much better chance this time, because all the balls are in the open. Now the follow through, I don't know whether he's got the angle to hold for the brown rather than just following through and running. Well, he's left himself square. He would have been better rolling through and coming around the angles and up the table. He's now left himself a more difficult brown. Cue ball's going to be running. And way off the mark. So Tonysam at the table just needs to roll the brown in. Doesn't need to do anything substantial, just roll it dead weight, get it in the hole. So 2 frames in a row, Magician's had a chance to steal both frames and blown them both on the brown. And it will be Magician to break in frame number 4. is he going to do a conventional break here? And he's back over at the right hand side. Yeah, well, that tells you everything. He wants out of here quick. He might have got away with that. Let's have a look. He's left a couple of reds into the middle, but black's gone into balk, yellow's gone to the balk cushion. Tonysam's overcut the red, and Magician has not got an easy starter. No, that isn't how snooker breaks are done. Most certainly not. You see, there's a bit of luck to land in the green, and look at all of these reds, or the brown, whichever he wants, but all of these reds to choose from, and well, he should be rolling the red into the middle and getting on that blue. And he's leaving himself the brown. Again, he could be on one of those reds into that middle pocket as we're looking. Doesn't need to do anything with the cue ball, but he's playing unnecessary big draw shots, and with no real sort of thought process as to be picking things off. I mean, okay, the reds are all over the shop. You're bound to be on a red. You'd be really unlucky not to be, but you still have to actually structure your break. And straight away, a poor miss on that red, and well, Tonysam is he's got a feeding frenzy here, but you'll see the difference in what you should be doing, picking off what's there. Roll the red into the middle. He should be on the pink. He's looking at the red down the rail, but the red into the middle looks simpler to me, and then just drop through for the pink. Well, that shot there, black doesn't go. It's a long blue. That's not the way I would have played it. Well, that's exactly what he should have done. He should have tidied up those reds. I mean, you have to be thinking about what you're doing. As long as your mind's clear and you're thinking about what you're doing, then you begin to string balls together. But Magician didn't show any inclination to do any of that stuff. This is, when you're looking at all of these reds, you have to be focused on the one ball that you're shooting and that next ball that you're playing for. No matter how many reds are spread over the table, you still have to be finding a pattern around the table. Tonysam's got himself out of line there because he's run into the two reds and he's on nothing up this end of the table. Well, he's on that red behind the black, but the black doesn't go, so that would have been a bit pointless. Well, this is also what happens when somebody does smack the reds. Most of the time in Virtual Pool 4, same in Virtual Pool 3, reds end up getting burst all over the table, and it's unfortunate, but the player who's got a semblance of knowledge of what he's doing is going to pick that off most of the time. If Tonysam started making silly mistakes, that's the only way that Magician is going to get a frame out of this match. He's had two chances and he's failed both times, and with that first visit he had at the table, I think he only ended up in 10, and that is just way short of what you should be scoring when the reds are all sitting like this. Now, with this situation here, you just work around the green and brown and the blue and pick off these reds that are sitting in this little gathering in the middle of the table. I mean, there's nothing to, absolutely nothing to do with the cue ball. You just roll the brown in and you're on the next red into the right middle. Well, he's drawing back for the red into the left middle, but it's 6.5 a dozen. What's the angle he's got? Well, he can roll through for the blue. And he's going way short there, chickened out in that shot. He should have been through another 1.5 feet there for that blue into the middle. That goes round behind the black and goes up high enough. He's got the red to the right of the red that's to the right of the black, if you know what I mean, and he should have an angle just to come back out onto the black. So roll the black in dead weight and then leave enough angle in that red just to come back out for the black again. These are all the basics that you do. He might have gone just a wee bit more. Yeah, he's probably going to have to run up the table for the blue. Well, he's trying to hold it. He's leaving himself a wee bit more angle. He's gone close to the rail, but that doesn't matter. He's in a run of 52. Once again, all from the fact that Magician smacked the reds opened, couldn't back himself, failed miserably on 10. And this is just a feeding frenzy for anybody who just uses their head and plays the game a wee bit more common sense than the way Magician's done it. So this match is going to be over fairly quickly. I mean, we're barely, when did the match start? 8 o'clock. We are barely 50 minutes into this match and it's already 4-0. I mean, that is Ronnie O'Sullivan's speed. And the thing is, if you get two players in the game who can actually score when they're at the table, you'd be surprised at how quickly frames do go. Which is another reason why, if you're going to, I mean, this isn't a virtual world championship, but this is the reason why when I started doing the virtual world snooker championships, I wanted it as a proper world championship, the way the proper one was done. So we had races to 10 in the first round, races to 13 up to the semi-finals, and then races to 17 in the semi, and a race to 18. And matches were over, or frames went by fairly quickly once you got two players that were more than a match for each other, because it was a lot of the time it was one visit snooker, just like the pros. You know, you get in, you score 50, 60, a century, and the frame's over. It's a lot more difficult to do that in virtual pool 4. But that being said, if the players have a better idea how they're going to play positional shots, then two decent players will run frames fairly quickly. Well, Tonysam's run ends on 83 and it's now 4 frames to 0. And Tonysam, well, you won't see him smack the reds open. Right hand side to punch the cue ball around the rail and somewhere on the back rail. Well, a wee bit heavy. Well, the trouble with that semi is I'm not going to be fair. I mean, Magician is well, I mean, I'm going to be critical and say it as I see it. He has no clue how to play this game. There is no evidence that he's got any idea of what he's doing. And with respect to anybody who enters this sort of tournament, if you come up against somebody who is a lot more classier than yourselves, and I played a lot of players that are a lot more classy than me in terms of scoring potential, and the difference is that when they come up against me, I made sure it was damn bloody difficult for them to score, and it was all too simple. Just playing with common sense, keeping everything tight, and not doing something stupid. And when you can't play the basics of the game, then you're going to end up in a hammering, and that's exactly what's happening here. You know, you've got to play the game, and I don't think, I mean, again, with respect to Magician, has he ever played snooker in real life? Because it's a bloody harder game than what we're watching here, I'll tell you. It is so much more difficult on a proper real table. You can get away with so much in the virtual game, but you have to bring your knowledge and play this game as you would try to do in real life. You've got to keep that pack tight against these tougher opponents and let them make the mistakes. Don't you be the sucker and just play into their hands. And I'm afraid that's what Magician's done. But having said that, he's got nobody else to blame for the fact that he had two good chances to steal 2 frames and he didn't do it. And well, that doesn't suggest that he's going to go too far in the tournament. He will have a second bite at the cherry on the one loss side. But I like to see somebody who's using their head. I don't care what game it is they're playing in virtual pool. If I see somebody who's using their head, actually thinking about what they're doing and trying their damnedest, then I've got every respect for them. But when you see somebody smacking reds open and they can't back it up by scoring, then it just makes them look a fool. You come out with absolutely no credit at all. But anyway, Tonysam won't be caring about that. He'll just be picking off what he can, get this match over and done with. I don't even know who he might play in the next round. That's how much I've looked at the bracket. I haven't a foggiest idea of what's going on. Well, that's more my problem nowadays. I know what I want to do, but actually doing it now, that's a problem. The eyes have gone. Well, if this black goes, which it does, you certainly want to take that, get it back on its spot. And he's overhit that again by quite a margin. Now once again, if this was me at the table, I'd be running for cover. My target area would be thin off that red and get down here by the green. I mean, Tonysam, with the lead that he's got, is quite prepared to have a go. But if it was a different situation, I would have been running for cover again. Well, I had no intention whatsoever of streaming anything in this tournament until I realised that I've got 2 weeks off. So any any half decent matches that come available, and I have to admit I was expecting a lot more out of this match than what I've seen. Already this match is over. Yeah, but if there's any decent matches, then I may well, provided obviously they're set at a time where I catch them, then I might stream one or two more, depending how quickly the tournament goes. So Tonysam on 43. Needs a wee bit of luck here, and that will do. Got a choice of reds, one into the middle, one into that left corner, although it's a wee bit tighter, I think. That just slows up. Now, a possibility here, a very strong possibility of a century, because Tonysam doesn't need to do anything at all with the cue ball other than come off the rail and into that red behind the pink, and it will give him a choice. Well, he's nudged onto the left red, but he's still sitting pretty. And what's that red light in the back cushion? Well, that's in a good position as well, because that's well potable where it's sitting. So he has a good chance here of running up a ton, and he will be he'll be getting fully focused to try and do that. Now again, if he's gone high enough, just a little roll through. I prefer to roll through off the rail and out rather than try to roll it through dead weight, because you can always leave yourself short. You're better erring on overhitting it and you've still got that angle. Well, he's gone. You can just drop onto the rail as long as he's got the angle. He's gone straight now. He's going to have to punch this in, and this is where it can go wrong. He's going to have to jab this in to get that cue ball out, and there's not an awful lot of forgiveness at pace on these pockets. Is he taking the one in the middle instead? Yeah, probably the wiser move. Now he's out of line, and he's got nothing again to do other than just a soft draw off this blue, and he's on the red to the left of the pink as we look. Break goes to 73. Now he can drop round behind the black. All about the pace here. Now is he playing that with inside right? Yes, he's looking to come the other side, is he? He's trying to check the cue ball. Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter, he's on the pink. I would have tried to come round behind that black. So this is a crucial shot. In goes the pink. Break goes to 85. And well, this should be the century, as long as he leaves that. Well, how's that for respect from an opponent? Somebody said earlier on, was it Witt said earlier on, is this what was his name in Virtual Pool 3? And I think he might be right, because he was a bit of an arsehole as well, if I remember rightly. And so Tonysam just needs the black to give us our first streamed century in Virtual Pool 4. Don't tell me I'm going to tempt fate here. And that's way too hard. He's going to lock himself out here. Well, it's the old blast and hope. Oh, here, hang on a minute, hang on a minute, hang on a minute, there we go, and he's going to cross bank the green. That's the only shot he's got. He's double kisses ruined it. So the break ends on 103, and well, Magician, it's all over. So well done to Tonysam, but he got an easy ride there. He'll certainly get a lot tougher as the tournament goes on. And well, with that, folks, I'm off for a cup of coffee. Thanks for your company, and as I say, there may well be other matches depending on what takes my fancy. I was hoping for an awful lot more out of this one, but it was disappointing to say the least. But at least we got to see a century and see what actually can be done when you think about what you're doing and play the right shots. So take care, guys, and we will see you again soon.